Welcome to Café à la Mode. It's been a crazy past couple of days here. The weather has been glorious and it's also been crazy rainy, and I thought I'll take it easy, see a different part of Paris. I think I know that girl. Jiawa? Is that you?
Kenneth, is that you?
It is me, it is you.
What
so
are
good to
you
see
doing
you.
here?
Oh my gosh, I thought I'd take it different and see a different part of Paris in the north. And this is really pretty, it's really quaint.
Well, you are in my neighborhood because this is my apartment right here.
Oh my
so,
God.
would you like to come in for a cup of tea?
I would love to.
Come on. I promise it's just one more. Just one more.
I mean, it's super charming.
Welcome
Voila.
to Le Terrace.
Le Terrace is indeed very chic. I love it.
Thank you.
Badger, Fox. So tell me, how did this all come about?
Oh my God, I don't have any idea. Honestly, okay, so the simplest way of telling you is that I decided that I was going to quit my job when I was here. I was here on a holiday. It was like supposed to be 2 weeks. And I decided at the end of it, I didn't want to go back to work. So I emailed my office and resigned.
I'm moving to Paris.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, in the midst of Paris Fashion Week, what have you seen so far from the shows that's been really inspiring?
Well, I have to say I was super moved by Dries Van Noten. And I don't know, I think it's probably my favorite show, like the whole flower motif. But I like the kind of like corrupted beauty kind of idea, so I think that one really spoke to me, and definitely there are some pieces there that I'm gonna want.
Wow. Give me 5 words to describe your personal style.
Okay, tomboy, comfort, contradiction,
Right.
anti-fashion, laziness.
Wow. So what is anti-fashion to you?
Well, I think, okay, maybe a better way to say this is more like fashion ignorance.
Okay.
I don't know that I ever felt, comfortable to know like what is fashion all about or like what is good style. I just feel like some things speak to me like emotionally, and I wouldn't say that it's like, is it on trend or does it even look good? So I would say that my personal style, sometimes it happens by almost accident, because something, a piece that spoke to me and I wore it, and then it could be really weird.
Right.
But it could also be anti-fashion.
So you're not someone who believes in trends?
Well, I think that you can't ignore trends. You can definitely recognize that when it's happening, but whether or not that speaks to you, whether or not that helps you express yourself, I think that's a decision that you make.
Right.
So, I mean, we're working in the world of fashion, so, we have to know about trends, we do things to do with trends, but as for personal style, I would love to encourage people just to be like not afraid of like having to be on trend,
Right. And what do your followers look for when they go to your, Beige Renegade? What are they looking for in terms of content that you're producing?
Well, I think because of the kind of feedback that I get, like a lot of people have used the word cinematic. It's kind of like, it's an escapism, I think, that is what I am offering. It's like you come to my page, it's a universe, whether it's about Paris or it's about like, referencing, some old movie or something. It's like you come here and you get a vibe, you participate in the mood. And I think that that's the way that people use Instagram also.
You've been talking a lot about how creating content is important, how it has changed or it's evolved. What sort of content do you think people are looking for right now?
I think they could be looking for anything. I mean, I don't think that you can really just say, okay, like this is what's like the stuff that's going to be popular right now. It's very diverse. Like, I think the way that Instagram is going, I mean, we're all kind of existing on Instagram. It's like the main fashion platform. Right now, I think there is like a mainstream, but then there's also like undercurrents.
Right.
And I really think that it's like this exciting Wild West time when you can like find your niche and you can like become a part of a subculture. So obviously there's like super popular content that's going viral, like whether it's like everyday outfits, obviously something that's very relatable to everyone, but there's also like these things that suddenly you're going down a rabbit hole and you're seeing like this new subculture and you're like, wow, I didn't even know these cool kids existed.
Right. And maybe tell me a couple of things that you have discovered, that this subculture, this underground culture that you've found.
Yeah, well, okay, so what started as a subculture, I think, is like this like Parisian girl, and now I think it's actually quite mainstream, because that can also happen with subculture becoming mainstream.
Right.
Like the kind of like, it could be a blurry picture of a girl with a ponytail, like in the middle of Paris. It could be a selfie in front of an ornate mirror, like this kind of vibe of like a very like raw representation of like what is a Parisian girl. This I think I discovered, I guess like middle of last year, and now it's like really becoming a big thing. And there's another undercurrent that I see, which is like this Korean street style subculture. And like it's typically where, you know, they're wearing sneakers and they cut their head. You know, they cut their head just here and they're always sitting quite straight. And then it's like, you know, they're wearing like the typical like street style or like very like underground brands. I think this whole Korean like streetwear thing is going to be like quite big.
And why do you think they cut off their heads? It's to concentrate all the attention onto the outfit, do you think?
I think that this is definitely an element of it, but I can't help but think that it's also because of the very high and particular standards of beauty that they have in Asia, and I completely understand that. I mean, like this Ulsan thing where you really have to look like perfect with like V chin and you know, like perfect, like big eyes. So I think if you don't have that, or if you are afraid you don't meet that standard, then like you just don't want to show your face.
Right. And what is your kind of particular quirk or beauty that you have that you think?
Okay, so I have like this tooth.
Yeah.
And it
I
has
have that tooth
Do
too.
you have that?
I don't. I have a gap.
Oh, but
I
that's
have a
super cute.
gap.
I love tooth. See, I wish this was a gap. Okay, I got tooth envy. I think I would miss things about myself, even if it's like a bad thing. I think I would miss it. And plus, you always know who ate the cookie.
Okay, that's true. Give me 3 best tips for making a great Instagram photo.
I got the gold for you.
Okay.
So, number 1, cohesive color scheme. Keeping to 2 colors. No more, no less.
Okay.
Number 2, referencing a trend.
Okay.
So this is very important. It could be anything. It could be the Eiffel Tower. It could be the Acme scarf. It could be Balenciaga shoes. Number 3, mood. Top priority has got to be mood. And that's how you express yourself.
Okay. Give me a mood that people are looking for trending right now.
Well, I think there's a really cool mood in like in rawness right now, where the picture's not perfect. You know, like the background could be, you know, a little bit messy, or like maybe you're not looking too perfect.
Right.
And like this for me, I think that's just so right now.
Okay. Who do you look to for street style inspiration?
I follow so many people, and I could start naming them to you, but actually I love following the street style photographers. Right. I think there's such a good way to, you know, get a particular view of, you know, their vision. And my favorite is Sandra Stenberg. I think she has a way of finding the looks that are a little bit special and magical, but then still super wearable. Right.
Jiawa, name me some street style trends that are really exciting right now.
Okay, you might not agree with me on this, but tiny bags.
Okay, yeah.
Are you with me?
We love it. We love it.
It's so
about
practical.
5 of them. If you had to choose to be in front or behind the camera, what would you choose?
I think that it's really cool to be both in front and behind the camera, because you kind of like learn things about both sides. And in fact, there have been times where I have been both in front and behind the camera when I used to shoot with a tripod and remote. But it's naturally kind of progressed in a way as we work with, you know, more in the industry, that I am doing more production and I am doing more from behind the camera, or maybe I'm not in front or behind the camera, I'm more directing. Right. And what about you?
I have spent all my life behind the camera.
Really?
Being a stylist for most of my life, and now, you know, because of social media, because things have changed, so you have kind of forced to be in front of the camera, and at first I wasn't comfortable with that. But I did, for many years, Asia's Next Top Model on TV, and TV actually gave me a really good platform to be expressive and to talk to an audience out there that's a lot wider and a lot younger. So I think that it's important to have the balance of both, and to know that if you do make a mistake, you know, just be really, really careful about what you say next, because things can be edited out.
Now, have you checked out the Sakura?
No.
It's just down the road, so do you want to take a trip?
Yes, please. Let's go.
Ooh, fancy.
How has social media changed the Fashion Week landscape?
Oh my god, you know what? I think that social media has created a brand new ecosystem for fashion. I really believe this. Like you look at going outside a show, you've got photographers that are shooting influencers, influencers getting dressed as photographers, influencers invited to dress in the show, influencers sitting front row to give a new media. I mean, I suppose, I mean, I wasn't around before then, but I suppose it must be completely unrecognizable.
I think that it's just widened the whole landscape completely. You know, like traditional media like myself need social media as well in order to attract a different audience to our platforms. So I think as an influencer, how have you felt that social media has empowered you to sort of comment on fashion trends or looks or feel? Actually, one question I would like to ask you is, how honest can you be about a show?
Oh my god. You know what, like I actually feel like I'm not qualified, you know, because I don't have fashion education. I've not been in fashion very long. I haven't really worked in fashion, you know, in the strict sense. So I don't like to comment on a show to say like whether this is good or this is bad, because I just don't believe that I have this kind of authority. But what I can do is, people always make the comment that they think the fashion shows are not wearable, or like they don't understand how do they fit in their life. And I think that as influencers, like we're feeling kind of a gap here. It's like you've got media, you've got advertisement, and then you've got consumers. There's like no kind of layer in between where there's someone kind of like showing you what this really looks like, or like, you know, someone that you trust because you have the same body type as her or something, right. You know, like it's like this person that can interpret the fashion, you know, world for someone who just wants to know how does it, you know, how can I put this into my world? How can I, you know, add it to my personality?
Do you think you have to be pretty to be a street style star?
I think it really helps.
Honestly, I love that.
Look, like I'm sorry, but like sometimes I look at an outfit and like I have to question myself, do I like the outfit or do I just really love this girl, you know?
Right.
And I'm very honest about that. But on the other hand, I think that it can be more relatable, I think, if you don't look like a model. I think it needs to hit a balance. Like, if you really just look like a model, I think that this can actually alienate some people. So right. I think before we used to have more like the model off duty, but I feel like that's kind of died down more, and now it's more about like the influencers who are looking like they are pretty, they're attractive, like they have good figures, but at least they look a little bit like more like real people. And I think that strikes a good balance.
Do you feel that you have to be switched on 24/7?
Me? Well, I think I made a choice not to be. There used to be a time, I mean, like, if you're across a few different time zones, like, I mean, Australian and Paris is just a crazy time zone because you're completely opposite. So you do feel like you have to be awake, like, at midnight or at 6 a.m., like, just to be able to, like, speak to your clients.
Right.
But I think you can make a choice about it, you know? Like, for example, I don't really accept every offer of work. So I reduced, or I kind of rejigged my the profile of my workload. So I try and have like a good balance that's like sponsored posts, a good balance that's like project work. What about you? Do you feel like you're always switched on?
I have to be constantly switched on.
Yeah.
It does not give me, like, social media, being an editor of a print magazine as well as looking after a website, I have to be on 24/7. It's a small team. It's a constant pressure to be able to deliver information and to a very young, you know, Asian audience that's always switched on.
Okay, so here we are.
Thank you so much, Jiawa, for being part of Café Mode. It's been so much fun and for showing me Sacré-Cœur.
Oh my god, I've had such a good time, and there's so much more Paris to show you. But for now,
au revoir!